Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Chris Flaherty, Tad Stefanak, and John Vias. Thank you for joining us. First up this week, in our attempt to bring you the most accurate and measured information from a local perspective on the coronavirus, we have teamed up with the Board of Health for weekly updates. Here once again is our own Dr. Wayne Saltzman of the Board of Health with the latest you need to know.
Hi everyone, Dr. Wayne Saltzman, geriatrician and elected board member of the Burlington Board of Health, coming to you once again to offer information, support, and to help you be prepared during this time of COVID-19. COVID-19 continues to evolve in the world and in our country. Over 1.6 million folks have been affected by COVID-19 in the world, almost 470,000 in this country. But there are bright spots. 361,000 people affected by COVID have recovered in the world, and over 26,000 have recovered in the United States. In Massachusetts, there are almost 19,000 confirmed cases, and we have seen the significant effects in New York, New Jersey, Louisiana, Michigan, and Illinois. And there is talk about the surge coming soon, and we know that our own Boston is being significantly affected, and other places across the counties of Massachusetts are being affected in different ways. We know that COVID-19 is part of our community, and in an effort to show ongoing commitment to the seriousness of this issue in our community, our town selectman administrator, working with the Board of Health, issued a state of emergency, which really means nothing more in the resolution except this is serious and we all need to be unified in efforts to mitigate. There have been concerns that COVID-19 may be affecting food, and the health agent of the Board of Health made a statement that we know that COVID-19 is not a foodborne illness and that our health department is working as diligently as it has in the past for all our food establishments still providing takeout and delivery to make sure they are following the food regulations in the same merit, the same caliber that they have been in the past. You know, we're learning a lot about this illness. We know, for example, that talking to patients remotely via what we call telemedicine is effective. We unfortunately have learned about the significance of racial disparity in our country when it comes to healthcare and those folks who have been affected by COVID-19. And we also are recognizing more the effect on our homeless population. We are going to be talking about a lot more issues with regard to healthcare once COVID-19 has passed. A lot of things to come. Regardless, the concepts of social distancing and maintaining standard precautions are no less important than they have been. And you know, it's still amazing to me as I look around our town that many people still are not keeping to social distancing. What can we do? Well, the requests haven't changed from me. We know actually from studies that soap is extremely effective in handling COVID-19. And in fact, a New York Times article from March 13th of this year, available online, really goes into details about how hand soap can destabilize this virus. So we are not just committed, as I've spoken in the past regarding hand sanitizers. Soap is effective. Hand washing, hand washing, hand washing. Protect your cough and your sneeze as we have before. Wear a mask in public. I know that it's been a recommendation. Carry a mask with you and use it. Why? It's a statement that we are unified in the mitigation efforts of COVID-19. It's a statement of being good citizens. It's a statement of saying, I want to protect you as I'm protecting myself. And we know that cloth masks help us conceal coughs and sneezes, keep us from touching our face, and warn others that we should be social distancing. We are flattening the curve. This is what we're hearing. And this will resolve. But I feel that social distancing and even some of the standard precautions are going to be with us for quite some time. So we should never let our guard down, and she would never rest on our laurels that this will just resolve and things will become normal again in a few months. I think it's stuff that we're going to need to continue to think about. So please be safe, be well, contact an older adult just to see how they're doing. We're all in this together.
3 Burlington firefighters have tested positive for the virus, and nearly 24 have been placed in quarantine. Fire Department Chief Mike Patterson told BNews that initially one firefighter began to show symptoms, and that person, as well as 15 others, were placed in self-isolation for 14 days. Subsequently, 2 more members tested positive for the virus. The chief also added that 3 members who tested positive are on the road to recovery, and that they hope the members who were placed in quarantine as a precaution will return to duty next week. He said that since the outbreak began, the department has taken extra precautions, including the wearing of N95 masks, both in the station and when on calls, and limiting the number of members who have direct contact with patients. Dispatch is also asking everyone who calls a series of questions to try and determine if either the caller or the person the caller is reporting have symptoms. He asked that if anyone has to call 911, be upfront about any symptoms they may have to help them respond appropriately. BNews Director Rich Hosford has a video interview with State Senator Cindy Friedman about the latest COVID-19 news coming out of the State House. We go to that interview now, so let's check it out.
Well, Senator Friedman, I'd like to thank you for joining me here in this new way we're all sort of operating, remotely. It's a little strange for everybody, but I think we can make it work. I just wanted to start off asking, how is, all the social distancing and everything just kind of affected the day-to-day operations at the State House?
A lot more meetings, lot more conversations, actually. It's been strange while we're not together, and the lots of our daily routines have been upended. We actually have been working very, very hard and long as as we kind of work through this new way of doing business. So the Senate has been very focused on passing legislation and looking at legislation that has a direct effect on the pandemic and addressing the issues around the pandemic. And so we've been meeting quite a lot, going through all of the issues around a particular bill and gaining consensus by the members so that we're able to then push the bill through in an informal session. So that all the issues that any senators have are addressed, and then we can just move it so that people don't have to come in and do a formal. So we're really trying to do as much work as we can without having to be together in the same place.
Right, pretty much the way most of us are, like
exactly.
right now. So recently there was a bill passed that sort of was aimed at kind of, helping residents and businesses, sort of, economically. And I wanted to go over a couple of the, points that were raised in it, just to talk about, how you think they're going to help. And the first being the, the extension of the tax deadline for state taxes.
I think this is going to be enormously helpful. So one of the really big reasons is that the federal government has extended the tax deadline, because state taxes depend, when you do your state taxes, you're doing your federal taxes, there's a dependency there. It would be really difficult for people if they just did state and didn't have to do federal at the same time. So that's really helpful. And then just because people are feeling anxiety around a whole lot of areas, like how do I get my taxes done? How do I get help? How do I file them? How do I, get to the mailbox, et cetera, that it's going to be very helpful. It's tough for the state because it means we don't get that revenue into the state which will mean we'll probably have to do some borrowing.
Yeah. I mean, looking ahead long term, I mean, there will be sort of an issue of a decrease in state, tax revenue. I'm sure that will have to be addressed in the future.
Absolutely.
Another thing that was part of the bill was provision to allow restaurants that have liquor licenses to to sell beer and wine either through delivery or pickup. Just talk about why you thought that was important to be in there.
This was something that we heard a lot about from our restaurants, and losing the ability to sell spirits has been a huge has had a huge impact on them. And we felt like this was something that we could do safely and at the same time support our restaurants.
Excellent. Um, there's also changes to municipal deadlines, they allowing towns to push back like town meetings and also when they, collect property taxes, things like that. Just how does that, aim to help, towns sort of during this time?
They are on a limited staffing levels. Most town halls are closed. You have to, put things in mailboxes or send them in or do them through I'm sorry, through the web. We have to protect our local municipal workers as well as our residents, and they're on limited staff, and and so they don't have the same capacity, especially around technology wise, to do all their work to do it remotely. So all of these things allow for not only to take some anxiety off of the residents, but also to allow our local governments to function and stay safe at the same time.
Excellent. We only got about a minute and a half or so left, but I just wanted to hit two more points. And one is just, what kind of resources are out there for residents who are, maybe trying to get unemployment and having difficulty or have healthcare costs that they are having trouble with?
So for healthcare costs that they're having trouble with, if they have their carrier, they need to call their carrier and talk to them. So that's their insurance carrier. I would call them directly. And if they have any issues with getting in touch with them or getting responses, please call my office, 617-722-1432.
Okay.
In terms of the other things that you mentioned, first of all, my website, cindyfriedman.org/COVID-19, has all of the resources that we have to date for different areas, small businesses, UI, etc. So you can always go there. But also, I think we sent you a list of the federal programs that are available for people and small businesses. And I know that we sent that along to you. So maybe you can publish those. You can publish some of those links. I know there's helpful resources that we are using are mass.gov/COVID-19, cdc.gov/COVID-19. And we shared the unemployment assistance and small business relief resources with you. So you can get those on my website, cindyfriedman.org, or you all could post them for people.
Yeah, we'll put them up on our website as well. Real quick, last thing, just looking ahead, what more do you think might be needed in the short term?
I think we're going to be looking at things like liability insurance, so we can make sure that our healthcare providers and all the people we're asking to step up and do things that aren't normally in their everyday work life to get protection, so they can continue to do that work. I think we're going to probably do some more municipal government pieces. There will probably be more UI, and there'll definitely be budget issues that we'll be addressing.
All right. Well, we will look forward to following along all of that. I really appreciate you taking some time today, and I hope you stay safe out there.
Yes, you too. Thanks, Rich.
Thank you.
On March 23, Governor Charlie Baker issued an order that all food and drink establishments cease serving customers in-house and switch to only delivery and/or takeout. The order has had a big impact on the restaurant industry, a big part of the Burlington economy. And since that time, there's been a push to encourage residents to take advantage of takeout or delivery. And as of last Friday, restaurants with a liquor license can also offer beer and wine takeout with delivery options. However, with so much emphasis being placed on staying home and social distancing, some people might feel torn about ordering from a restaurant and either having someone come to their home or to go and pick up an order. So we reached out to Burlington Board of Health to ask how they regulate businesses to ensure that either pickup or delivery is safe during the times of virus. Burlington Health Agent Marlene Johnson explained that all food establishments follow food code requirements, and the Burlington Board of Health requires that there be a certified food protection manager on site at all times while the food establishment is open. She said that after Governor Baker's order, the Board of Health contacted all the food establishments to find out if they would be open, and if so, they reviewed the new standards with them. Those new standards are takeout and delivery only, more frequent and hand washing, not working when ill, and social distancing between employees and customers. She also said that if complaints are received by the Board of Health, they are investigated immediately. She added that some food establishments are practicing no contact pickup and no contact delivery. Other restaurants may only let in a few people at a time to pick up their orders to ensure social distancing. Finally, in regards to safety around the food itself, Johnson pointed to the CDC's Center for Disease Control literature that suggests the spread of COVID-19 through food is highly unlikely. Coronaviruses are generally thought to be spread from person to person through respiratory droplets. The CDC writes, there is currently no evidence to support transmission of COVID-19 associated with food. The Burlington Annual Town Meeting will now be held in June due to concerns over the spread of the virus. On Monday evening, the Board of Selectmen met virtually and voted to postpone town meeting from May 11 to Wednesday, June 10th at 7:30 p.m. This recommendation was made by Town Administrator Paul Sagarino. We have a clip of him explaining the thinking behind the decision. Let's have a look.
At our last meeting, the board took a vote to postpone the annual town election. Now we're asking the board to do the same for our annual town meeting, which was originally scheduled for May 11th. Since the town meeting warrant has not been posted as of yet, Mass General Laws, Chapter 39, Section 9, allows the Board of Selectmen to move the meeting date. Amy Warfield, our town clerk, and I spoke to our town moderator, Bill Byer, last week to discuss a date. The town moderator obviously plays a primary role in our town meeting. It was decided during that meeting that the new date for town meeting would be Wednesday, June 10th at 7:30 p.m. At our typical location at the high school auditorium. As you guys may recall, the town election was rescheduled for Saturday, June 6th. So the date for town meeting to start would be the following Wednesday.
Sagarino explained that while normally town meeting starts on a Monday and is continued until Wednesday, until concluded, they decided to push it back 2 days because the town election has been moved to that Saturday, and they wanted to give newly elected members more time to review the warrants. Sagarino said the town's financial departments will be meeting with the Ways and Means in the coming weeks to discuss the different town budgets. He said at this time it would be difficult to make large changes with massive disruptions in town services. He also said that due to past planning, the town is in good position to weather some bad economic times. Typically, each of the town departments is represented by a Ways and Means subcommittee, and those subcommittee recommendations are rarely overturned by the full committee. So most of that work has already been done. He added that if the situation does not improve for a very long time, there are ways the town can look to save money. Also concerned naturally about revenue, the meals tax, the sales tax, the gas tax and tolls and everything in the state is roughly at this point down 80 to 90%. Also at the Board of Selectmen meeting, members voted to approve language to officially put the town of Burlington in an official state of emergency. Town Administrator Sagarino explained during the meeting that the declaration was more about sending the message that the virus situation is serious and that all residents should listen to the advice of the Board of Health and state health officials. He quoted town council saying that while there was no specific law that provides extra powers to municipality by declaring such a state, there may still be interest in making such a declaration to provide guidance as to residents as to the seriousness of the situation, and it may have some relevance to state or federal relief grants that may become available. Sagarino also said that the declaration was urged by the Board of Health and written with cooperation from Health Director Susan Luminello and Board of Health Chair, Dr. Eddie Weiner. In the continuing battle against the virus outbreak, medical supplies are needed. A company out of neighboring Bedford has taken up the cause to supply our healthcare heroes. BNEWS reporter Tad Stefanak has this report.
So what we have here is a Stratus F-170 3D printer.
The COVID epidemic has certainly had its heroes among us, including medical device company InfraredX, just over in Bedford.
And we're going to begin printing face shields.
InfraredX computer-aided design has pivoted their 3D printing towards manufacturing medical face shields and donating them to our healthcare heroes in Boston, New Hampshire, and are in use as far away as Albany, New York, and Detroit.
Those heads moving back and forth are the printer heads. And what happens is the material is on spools, and it runs into these printer heads that are heated at a very high temperature, which causes the plastic, it's ABS plastic, to flow. And then you can print it, and as it cools down, it hardens up, and you end up with a face shield.
InfraredX can make about 20 face shields a day and deliver them to area hospitals due to the demand. InfraredX donation of these critical medical supplies to healthcare workers is an exemplary example of how working together we can fight the COVID outbreak. For BNews, I'm reporter Tad Stefanak.
The Middlesex Sheriff's Office has been working to reduce the prison population as more cases of the virus have been found in both inmates and staff. Thus far, there are 7 inmates in the Middlesex Jail and House of Correction who have tested positive. 21 members of the Middlesex Sheriff's Office, including members of the jail staff, had tested positive also. All those employees who have tested positive are remaining off duty until cleared by medical professionals to return to work. There has also been a 15% reduction in the population at the jail, driven by proactive steps taken by the Middlesex Sheriff's Office and public safety partners that has allowed them to temporarily close multiple dormitory-style housing units. These efforts were in place weeks before last Friday's ruling by the Mass Supreme Judicial Court in the case filed by the Committee for Public Counsel Services seeking to have individuals released from custody. The reduction in population over the past 4 weeks provided the office with the flexibility to move individuals on Wednesday. The decline is a direct result of actions taken by the Sheriff's Office, the District Attorney, local law enforcement, and the courts, in combination with the completion of these sentences as well. Among the most significant efforts undertaken by the office was a drastic increase in the volume of video and phone conferences facilitated by the Middlesex Jail and House of Correction, allowing cases, including bail reviews, to move forward while courts have largely been closed to the public. Between March 18 and April 9, over 400 such conferences were held. Fox Hill Elementary School teachers were the latest to drive their cars around neighborhood streets to pay a visit to their students during the epidemic, reminding their kids to stay healthy and strong, and when school is still closed. BNews reporter John Vias went to check it out and files this report.
With cabin fever getting to the best of everyone during the COVID-19 epidemic, Fox Hill was the next of many public schools to shine during these hard times. On Monday, April 6th, the elementary school educators met up in the school parking lot, decorated their cars, and drove around town with music for a special parade through neighborhood streets, waving to their students as they passed by their homes, with support from the Burlington Police Department. Some students and parents held up their own signs as the cars drove by, showing support for their favorite teachers. The parade was a way for the staff to remind their students that they're thinking about them when school can't be in session. Without a single cloud in the sky, it was a lovely morning as the bond between students and faculty kept growing stronger and will continue to keep growing despite social distance. From Fox Hill Elementary School and its neighboring streets, I'm John Vias for BNEWS Weekly.
Everyone should be practicing social distancing right now, even during popular holiday events. However, with the help of Parks and Recreation and Wegmans, the Easter Bunny was still able to safely visit the children of Burlington as part of their Bunny Brigade Extravaganza. BNews reporter Chris Flaherty followed Peter Cottontail down the bunny trail, and he has this look.
Recently, teachers have been parading their vehicles through Burlington neighborhoods to say hi to kids. This week, a popular holiday icon wanted to get in on the trend. Through the combined efforts of Parks and Recreation and Wegmans, the Easter Bunny was still able to visit the children of Burlington. Escorted by Parks and Rec staff and riding the Wegmans Veggie Van, the Easter Bunny went from house to house, wishing glad Easter tidings to all. From the comfort of their home, boys and girls were able to say hi and wave to old Peter Cottontail from a safe social distance. It just goes to show, no matter what the circumstances, the Easter Bunny still comes to town. Until next time, this is Chris Flaherty for BNews Weekly, wishing you a safe and happy Easter.
A Burlington police officer has been arrested and arraigned in his hometown on charges of assault and battery. According to Middlesex District Attorney Marion Ryan's office, David McLean, 51 of Dracut, was arraigned on April 2nd, 2020 on the charge of assault and battery on a household or family member in connection with an alleged altercation that occurred at approximately 1 o'clock on April 2nd. McLean, according to Burlington Town website, is a sergeant with the Burlington Police Department. During the incident, the defendant allegedly assaulted an adult female victim who was known to him after a verbal argument, a spokesman for the DA said. The defendant was released on personal recognizance in order to stay away from and have no contact with the victim and not to consume alcohol. The judge in this case was Judge Stacy Forts. The next court date is June 18th, and as always on any criminal charge that we report here, the defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty. The COVID-19's impact on the economy has put many businesses in a position to pivot and adapt with novel approaches to maintain business. Wayside Shopping Center has a family-friendly contest they're running that not only gets the whole family involved, but you could also win your choice of cuisine from Wayside's fine restaurants. BNews reporter Tad Stefanek has this report.
Burlington businesses are creating innovative ways to persevere in the economic climate of the COVID epidemic. And Wayside Shopping Center is in the fray with a Facebook contest for the whole family.
We knew everybody was at home and staying safe with their families. So families are then finding like a new way to go about their day. So we thought, why not give families that follow us an activity to do? And then why not reward the whole family with dinner and a movie at home for taking part? It's just a great opportunity for families to come together.
Details of the contest can be found on the Wayside Shopping Center Facebook page. Participation is as easy as like, share, create. And the kids of the family get to make a picture of their favorite family activity.
In a similar vein, we wanted to give better access and visibility to our restaurants at Wayside who remain open and are, offering takeout. The Capitol Grill, they're open for takeout. Nothing Bun Cakes are open for takeout as well. And they do curbside delivery, potbelly sandwiches, and Season 52. With everybody just kind of starting to get involved with the giveaway, we're actually extending the closing date to April 15th, which is next Wednesday. So we'll close it down and then we'll announce the winner on April 17th. We're excited that, people are taking part.
So get the art supplies out and visit the Wayside Shopping Center Facebook page to like share, create, and win.
You know, we'll see everybody back out in their normal everyday routes and shopping before we know it. But right now, we want everybody to stay home and stay safe and stay healthy.
From a social distance at the Wayside Shopping Center, I'm BNEWS reporter Tad Stefanak.
Before we leave this week, we have some sad news that hits very close to home. A beloved family man, a longtime member and fellow volunteer here at BCAT, passed away this past week and will be sorely missed. Ritchie Sarno, a talented producer at Burlington Cable Access Television, passed away from a long illness at Winchester Hospital on Thursday morning, April 2nd. He was 65 years old. Ritchie was born, raised, and educated in Cambridge. He was a graduate of New England School of Design, located in Boston. He went on to have a career as an arts director in the graphics design industry in the magazine publishing category. Ritchie settled in Burlington in 1990, where he would raise his family, become very involved in the community, and make many friendships. He was a town meeting member and a longtime member of St. Margaret's Church in Burlington. Ritchie was an active producer at BCAT. He produced his series Turntable for 7 years and hosted over 40 episodes. The series was an eclectic mix of cultural and artistic expressions from various artists, authors, and musicians, as well as community and regional landmarks and traditions. Ritchie not only produced his own series, but he produced many specials that were a labor of love for him, most notably his production of Little Joe Cook, which won second place for excellence in a documentary in the Northeast Regional Alliance for Community Media Annual Video Festival. Ritchie also served on the BCAT Board of Directors for 4 years between 2013 and 16. As much as Ritchie enjoyed his production work at BCAT, the people and being part of the BCAT community were his favorite parts of being involved. He developed strong relationships with other volunteers, producers, staff, and board members, and thought of BCAT as a second home. Here is Selectman Mike Runyon talking about Ritchie's legacy at this week's Board of Selectmen meeting.
I would like to extend my condolences to the family of Ritchie Sarno. Ritchie was a good friend of mine and very active in the BCAT community. He was he had a keen interest in music, and he produced a number of programs himself for BCAT. He was a longtime member of the board of directors on BCAT, and he'll be sorely missed. So again, my condolences to the family of Ritchie Sarno.
Finally, Ritchie's greatest joy was the birth of his granddaughter, Brooklyn. Nothing made him happier than spending time with her. He was affectionately called Paparoni by Brooklyn. Ritchie will be remembered for his upbeat personality, his love of family. He will be missed by us all. It's also noted that Ritchie had a wonderful singing voice. Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photo shows Burlington Girl Scouts reconnecting in our time of social distancing using modern-day technology. It was sent in by Wendy Geist and shows members of Girl Scout Troop 72036 keeping in touch using online meetings. Wendy says that one of the moms generously offered to host a paint night. Hopefully the troop will be back together in person soon enough when this is over. Thank you for the photo, Wendy. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of something you see around town, whether outside your own door, or as usual, photos of your family members, friends, and pets. Whatever you think is interesting and would like to share. Email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. And that's it from the news desk here at BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with Rich Hosford, Chris Flaherty, Tad Stefanak, John Vias, and Robert Parrish. Thank you for joining us.